Sangye Chedang Sagi Chanamla Chanchu Pardo Dani Kyabsunche Bhage Jinso Gibe Sonam Gin Rola Penjira Sangye Robash Sangye Chedang Sagi Chanamla Chanchu Pardo Dani Kyabsunche Bhage Jinso Gibe Sonam Gin Rola Penjira Sangye Robash Sangye Chedang Soje Chanam La Chanchu Pardo Dani Kyabsunche Dage Jinso Gibe Sonam Gin Rola Penjira Sangye Robash Simchen Tamche Dewa Dan Dewe Gyodan Demba Gyoje Simchen Tamche Dunga Dan Dunga Gi Gyodan Dewa Simchen Tamche Dunga Mebe Dewa Dan Mendawa Gyoje Simchen Tamche Niren Chadan Nidan Tanyam La Neba Gyoje Simchen Tamche Dewa Dan Dewe Gyodan Demba Gyoje Simchen Tamche Dunga Dan Dunga Ge Gyodan Dewa Gyoje Simchen Tamche Dunga Mebe Dewa Dan Mendawa Gyoje Simchen Tamche Niren Chadan Nidan Rabe Tanyam La Neba Gyoje Simchen Tamche Dewa Dan Dewe Gyodan Demba Gyoje Simchen Tamche Dunga Dan Dunga Ge Gyodan Dewa Gyoje Simchen Tamche Dunga Mebe Dewa Dan Mendawa Gyoje Simchen Tamche Niren Chadan Nidan Rabe Tanyam La Neba Gyoje Sajibyoje Joje Medo Tatan Re Role Je Yende Gambandi Sangye Jendo Mendeloi Dogenanda Jela Cheba Sheshu Idam Guru Rana Mendala Kanyatayami. From now until my enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until my enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until my enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings enjoy happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of past attachment and anger. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be separated from cheerful bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment, and anger. All sentient beings enjoy happiness in this causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be separated from the source bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of attachment and anger. Yes, the great earth filled with the smell of incense, covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain, the full countenance, wearing a jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the prayers of the Buddha. How for it all to you. For this deed, may every living experience the beauty of the world. Idam Guru Radha Mandala Pramniya Dayami.
공개 주진이 좀와 다왔던 담배 지레 담배 주는 담배 고담대 라 차자로 야다 조지 바 발단 어디샤기 신디 용동 시즌 남자망 남배치 오말렘 바신 들어서 소리 당안한서 이 가르친 거 알아서다 어쩌다 지단이 뒤제 탐제 미다 봐서 인디가라 원한 솔든 순대지나 담아 예배 담아 치와싱데 용해야래 대양 아니베 원에 미다 봐 참모 깨지깨지 인지빈 완전인데 인지 된대 인디가라 남지 참해 봐 보다 된대기 삼마다네 신디 윤대 퉁퉁 시우 차대요래 고 라신 미다 비 라신지 전지 인상 신디 윤대 퉁퉁래 시제 남자한테 다 해버려 띠깡가 장은 데는 조야 코나야 말이지 다 가르쳐 거잖아 낭비 추돌라 젤레 가려르다 추도 어머니 가간 제투에게 젤레지요래 오다 띠나지 미 남주대 랭인지에게 남주지요래 오다 랭인지에게 남주 에네베 신디 윤퉁퉁데나 랭인지에 남주대 빼줬다네 에네베 빵 주도라 인주고래 빵 찌셔버지 보고래 오다 갈로때 남겨래
The great Master Atisha, in his saying that the life is too short and the classifications of the knowledge are endless, and just like a duck or geese able to drink only milk when mixed with water. Likewise, so in this verse, what Atisha is advising is that every living beings, by nature, when one starts with the process of birth, will end up in dying, and and that happens because of the reality of subtle impermanence processes. And therefore, when you look from the that understanding, the period of our life is very short. And when you compare that to the classifications or the numbers of knowledge, education, subject of understanding out there, it is limitless. There is no limited kind of limitations to the knowledge fields of study. So just like he's using this metaphor here, sort of saying that the geese or duck, they have a unique ability to drink only milk when it is mixed with water. In the meaning, for human, using our intelligence within that short period of lifespan, yet so many things to learn, we need to be using our intelligence in a most best possible way, especially in adopting what is positive for us, good for us, and avoiding or abandoning what is bad or negative for us.
답발난 주돌 제발라 주도 제탄데 시고래 시야데 땅원에 가르들 란지 아니 라 탑다 샤랍니 랑자 chola tabda sharabni an tabda janju sem rinpoche sita niji tsawa che niginde niji ngugi che genjigi ani semjila ani janju ki sem rinpoche jempen baji samdangenji semjila janju ki sem sigorta nije ne pe tengi jide tumdegi lo yang tabaji chadiyor wada di dang ani tongi dobel tawa zundundeni wada tenigi lamjila nyamsulang kuwari. Di nyamsulang pala, di midincho, mani tongi gil tawe midincho le, zanzi mariba. Ola, zamarzen be denzin. Yen, chanchu ki semgi, ane be midincho, rang cheparanzin be jinzin. Oda, zanzin dan, jinzin, tana, zimba tengi la, ta nyempo tengoy, kuwari. Zimba tingin la nyembuji ten tuba ina teni pe karsore ngaranzo dubu nagu terngin ta nyomo chode sawan tungjin tuyaji yores oda tendi indigala oda tendi gi chik ngone junzan ti tendeng junzan de lalen sudi masengde ta ngone pe kanjangi ta 야증 물주 토메 장보 생디 코랑 베 냠용지 냠용 아니 베에 빠랑 주도 지는 냠용 털 선바지 아니 나랑조다 베 몽바는 데니 제거래 이제 랍자텐데다 준데지 아주 냠낸 지거래 디 퇴바 퇴향점을 말어지네 가서 툭툭 주도 제거돼 베 민스면 내 전부 자대거래
So when we talk about things that needs to be adopted and things that needs to be abundant or avoiding, we need to know how to engage in the process. When we say things that needs to be adopted, that needs to be implemented, we are talking about method and wisdom aspect. And within the method, mainly the practice of altruistic mind or awakening mind or bodhicitta, which is the immediate result of the great compassionate mind. And with that precious mind, we need to combine that with the another additional one, wisdom realizing emptiness. So a combination of these two, what we need to be abandoning or avoiding or destroying is the exact opposite of these two. The opposite of the emptiness is the truth grasping thought and self grasping thought. The exact opposite of the awakening or bodhicitta mind is self cherishing thought. And so there's two exact kind of opposite to this, positive thought. And so in order to kind of eliminate these, the opposition negative forces, we need to apply antidotes. And only through, application of these two antidotes, altruistic practice and understanding of emptiness, we will be able to eliminate the very root cause of all of our suffering that we so don't want to experience. And to do that, we are attempting to kind of, have understanding by studying this great book, the 37 Practices of All Buddha's Son, or Practices of Bodhisattvas, composed by a great Tibetan master, Ngönju Thongme Sangpo. And this was a result of his own experiential, practice, and what he came up with here is based on his experiences, all these instructions, thoroughly kind of going through this, process, and therefore the result of his, from his experiences. And when we engage in this study, we should also trying our best not to live merely this as a kind of intellectual understanding, just by kind of listening and then satisfying with that, rather trying that into actual kind of implementation of the practice and having the actual experience as the author did.
아니 다 Tendi indigala ngone gi chik lalen sudimena ta ngo samde kabale tiyorasena sem kene ta lamrim sabche baina sem kene chopa chindu lo pa sa chindu nani jimbe partin chim chinsare 다 주림기 퍼진 텔레티어레 오다 띠인디가라 말한서 융된데 가서 퇴다 마보게 펜타고가 말해 가서 융지 로이나 델라 야니양도 사무다 야니양도 롤런 디버체데 개침보레 때마다 롤런 디버 맞제지 아니 콤발 렘마토비체니 톱탄스타나 디게 단질은 내야 가보래. 란진진 내야 가보래. 냠len 세야데 시유이니. 아니 란체버즈미 진진다. 젬버즈미 렌진니게 지우순치 진 메바지 조투기나. 라브레. 데마투나야. 데라 쩐들 타투나. 주바 같이 주베민 민돈 수와지 용하이디. 용하이 차거래. 근데 같도 있나 균도 랑게 시결을 잘하지 아니 물적 가르 직잡이나 네 가르친도 네 자와치 샤겨디 렌진던데 두고 민도 아 라체버즈 미친스던데 두고 민도 또 실다 양양도 실다 두이나 되니 네 랑라 가르 시지바이나 때 추추스로 해지 깨지게 담바 냠len 가르치네 냠len 내면부지 용어 용그리스다 거다 다 신이 케베왕보 냠len 받던데 주라몽부지 땡이어래 왔다 태그 아니 순균나 왔다 다랑 순구도 없이 다들 시원내 점벌이 아니 삼로지 다이나 수수샘디 유한터에 여겨지를 마도 매겨지 균을 와 왔다 띠니가라 가서 툭툭 땡이라 님부터 에툴타나 이니 데니 가서지 슈충 로트리 아니 돈이 더벨 타왈라 레지점기 고아자 레지데 아니 든지공업에 든지는 상남통에 무슨 뜻으로 차야지 요래지
This text that we are studying, the 37 practices of Bodhisattvas, when we look at the outlines, we are in the section where text deals with the practice of altruistic mind, bodhicitta mind, or awakening mind, and under that comes the practice of 6 perfections. And we finished the first one, that is, the practice of generosity. Now we are going to the next one, moral ethics or morality or discipline. And in studying this kind of text, it is not kind of there is no benefit if we try to kind of keep merely numbers, try to have many texts as you try to kind of simply studying many texts is not beneficial. What is needed here is really kind of as said earlier, apply this to your own mind and make this the content of the text habits of your thought. Without that kind of implementation, without this content of the text mixing with your thought, there won't be any changes to your self-cherishing thought, self-grasping thought. So your understanding will not hurt at all your the negative aspect of your mind. So there's no benefit. And when we say we are doing practice, if possible, the highest way is really trying to kind of cut off the root of self-cherishing thought and self-grasping thought. If not that kind of high level of practice, at least try to know that these thoughts and their kind of disadvantages and what problems that they causes to us. And when you go towards that kind of direction, then there will be some kind of benefits. And more importantly, always kind of remaining alert and aware of your own thoughts. When there are some kind of thoughts arising, making sure that you are examining it properly. Is this kind of my thought under the influence of self-cherishing or not, self-grasping or not? Are they mixed with those negative emotions or not? And with that kind of awareness, whatever practice that you try to engage in or activities, that there's a highly kind of likelihood that becomes a practice of Dharma, and it becomes meaningful, fruitful practice. And so these are the sayings that Geshe-la had from his more than 10 great masters and practitioners from their advices and instructions. And also the more kind of ordinary common sense, if you try to intentionally make changes to your thought, it is something that is totally feasible, something doable. Mind can change, mindset can change. And so here, kind of doing your best to apply those two antidotes against those two, negative aspect of the mind, self-cherishing and truth-grasping thought. And again here, it really begins with the process of simply, understanding of the words, intellectual understanding. Then it becomes clearer and goes to more the understanding of the meaning. Then it becomes much more precise, more clearer, and your understanding becomes kind of actual sort of antidote. And so therefore, this when you start, it will go through that kind of gradual processes of actually able to apply the antidotes.
낭패 냠는 바스인데 간질 구고 알았잖아. 소 지대 총인지래. 지대대 다 간이 지적거래. 치 루이라 템비 지대지다. 낭 셈을 템비 지대지. 소 낭파 시대다 대나네. 팔 날렌 pitte. ini jinju 낭파 진진젤라. 랑 셈귤라. 자라제니. ini semkine nyomongdela kyondul tane dong etup tayaji ta ti kyon nasu tang etup tayaji uware semgi yonden nishi sawachebe janchuki semla sobe ni sherepki ani darbotabu tomitobe sheraptere tingi kacha kompeldo tang etup tayaga dos chebena pal nalentagi nampe semgi jide tuyaga tharma men tu mirwade ta tingini thungbu wares.
In Buddhist practice, the main objective is seeking happiness of the mind, seeking the peacefulness or happiness, and this happiness and peacefulness can be further categorized into physical and mental, and of course in Buddhism it is mental happiness and peacefulness. And also when we look at this, the Buddhist approach here, we are talking more specifically of the traditions of great Nalanda masters. And in this process, what would be doing is beginning with kind of examining your own thought and doing your best in kind of these two twofold kind of activity. The first is by recognizing and identifying the negativities, the fallacies of the thought and mind, and then trying your best to kind of stay away from those, avoid from those. And on the other hand, with the recognition and identifications of the positive qualities of the mind, and primarily rooted in compassion, and then sort of the king of the old reasoning, understanding of emptiness, and seeing those kind of the greatness of these two, and then doing your best to promote and develop these two qualities. And so the peacefulness of the mind must come through these kind of twofold practices.
오다 드니 니가라 균도 자와 간지제바나 저거 꽈라니 나 지기데 디링니마 뭐니 뇽몽다 가지기 균 따두고도 자주기 셈기 니시 자와집에 자주기 셈달라 간지지 곰펠다 당고도 오다 또 술탄이 굴롱제야데 시우지 개첨부 자대요 저거 야랑 굴롱제 아니 ni lokala yang samlo jitang unjong da sem ma gibe yeba ka to unjong da che eni yang ni ma karje ba de charache eni ni lo de yang janju ki sem gi zimbi ni ji ta ina ge wi ni re to ni to ba ni be ngara nangsul na shin ta me sambe go ne dendi ji nangsul de la ni be samlo jitang de te na shin ji me sana 팔절에 den동 규말 타위 eni be 나라 라지메 빠지 텐디지 인 삼벨 로쭈만 신지기 zem바이나 텐데와 니티 니 된된 아니 조게야 란디가라 리셈 데샹샹 지토니 라야 라그리 스타티소 오네 윤동아라 저 미트비야 말에 오네 로니 로 다와넬 다와 가서 죄 챙인 집에 아니 타마 텐디지 토니 아니 베 군놈 텐디지 진디 두스치바이나 미세 던된 텐덴 용그리 와다 텐디 삼로 양양도 롤런 디바치바이나 애니 미치기 애니 소소라 마참바자도가라 콜라베데 라타 라즈네 타가나시다 마레 삼삼지데 셈라 포도 뉴 깨짝깨 한번 용그리 와다 텐디기 로 콤팔렘나 칼레 라랑기 셈데 가수치 베 가르소리 셈 구야모 빠페부 애니베 투자 밑에야 어다 텐디기 텐덴 자그리 어다 딘데 용어였던 달라 아주 취천인 자야데 데레 조조 셈기 디기 두야던 달라 취천인 지고 와래 아니 디마 루부로데 제야겠던 달라 취천이 와래 너만에 따바 콘 너만 따따 말데 말이 다 너만에 따바데 루브르 디민 딥샤게 메아서야 탑람 텔em 배고 와래 최신인데 루브르 디마슬약 돈달레 취지고 와래 어다 땡주가라 되게티 캠바체 아니 간지 유니 셰샤게데 추중이 시seb지랑라 삼당에 요지 주나 아니 펜도 용그리
whatever activities that we do in our day-to-day life, starting our day with a good kind of intention, and really kind of having a strong awareness of your thought for that particular day. How am I going to spend this day? Especially in terms of arising of afflictions in our thought, and how you are going to sort of deal with the promotion and development of the positive qualities of mind, rooted in compassion, and then altruistic thought, and beginning day with that kind of thought, and then ending day with same kind of thought, examining back 12 hours and how you have managed according to motivation that you set up in the morning. And if at the time of bed, if your mind is a little kind of disturbed, you can sort of calm down with the inhaling and exhaling, breathing meditation, and then when it's a little calm down before going to sleep, try to kind of reflect on the altruistic mind, bodhicitta, and also thinking about the understanding of emptiness, that things appears to be independently existing, yet that is not the reality. Their reality is they are lack of true existence. So with that kind of awareness, even if you don't have actual understanding, just kind of contemplating with the help of maybe artificial kind of understanding, imitating actual understanding, with that kind of thought when going to sleep, the sleep would be also transformed into virtuous, and when you get up, that would be more relaxation, both physically and mentally. And these are something that is not really difficult for us, having kind of having spent many months and years in this kind of study. Those activities are something that we can quite kind of easily engage in. And with that kind of gradual kind of a process of practice, we can make days and then months and then life more meaningful. And the more you kind of get familiar with these kind of thought processes, later when you face somebody kind of hurting you, somebody who is kind of treating you inappropriately, from your side, the reaction would be much more calmer. You won't get hurt as it used to be before these kind of practices. So these practices will gradually kind of help you to open up your mind, become more calm, and mind with less disturbances, thoughts. And the whole purpose of why we are studying this kind of text is so that we can improve the quality of our mind by again kind of doing our best to reduce the afflictions which are temporary, something that can be separable from true nature of our mind. And so the point here is that whatever you study, learn, it is helpful to kind of implement in if you can, just the 24 hours, the entire days and nights of our time.
와다 드니 니갈라다 말한서 술집 받친 새 술집 새의 시부 내 전부 잘해 가르치는 내 전부 잘 거래. 그러나 라렌 수도면나 세부 스무도 이런 부치게 센삼 핵견 술집 넘숨라 꼼빠면나 장주 민두파 레포르토니 야세 돈발라 좀바타벨로 버징기로 쓰데 숨고도 셈 깨바이나 술집 마수와이나 아니 직 아디 미니비냥데 아니 타는 다주메 다 문테 고방 터야 가버리 술집매나 딘디 이두갈라 술집데 우먼 주변알라 문테기니 술집 내지메 저송래 술집데 시워게 쳔버리 아니 지데나라 가나서 미 둘남제라 팀지 우고도 결과를 팀매나 이 결과도 징요 투분도 팀 시우지게 쳔버리 딘디 이두갈라 가래 지갑에나 팀이 유담이규 탐젤레스 수도와 시부스게 좀 개첨부를 줄짐시디가라 배내 전부 차들 어다 줄짐시인데 원에 말한서 미 간레질레 팀이 여긴데 팀 지수적인 미들라 나니 뉴어요 팀 지수 미적인 미들라 나니 마요 어다 가서 통주수 여버려
The next practice of the perfection from the sixth practice of perfection is the practice of morality or discipline or moral practice. We can see the importance of this in mentioned in many different Buddhist texts, such as engaging in the middle way path. Very decisively mentioned that to take a higher rebirth, there is no other way than engaging in the practice of the morality or moral discipline. And the practice of morality or discipline is something that is needed when you live in human society, or or in the nation, there's always laws, regulations that we follow. And also in the 400 verses of Aryadev, he mentioned about practice of morality as the foundation of all the good qualities. So it serves as the foundation for all the positive qualities of knowledge. And even with the ordinary understanding, we can see people who are more kind of staying under the needed laws, regulations, or moral ethics or behavior. They end up with less problem, and those who are more kind of going against, not following the laws or regulations or moral ethics, end up with more the problem.
어다 되니기들라 팀들라 야 뭐 코랑 팀뭐 술팀 세야돼 가르스 간데지 쓰고래 라기나 술팀 세데 팀 술팀 세데 조조 가르사 제는 지르데 제발라 도바지고 와래 제는 지 제는 너비 지르데 제발라 도바지 어다 되니지 용알라 야 니지 미남지 니지를 과 맞잖아 이제는 너비지다 제발 도야 용야 가버래 저서 남부 최신디 배 거기 지드지래 렌데 베선지 요래 디지시바이나 아니 남부 최 비다보 용에 용거래 어떻게 인디가 이제는 너비지다 제발 도바지라 술짐 시거래 어다티 텔라니 배 소다르기 술짐 장저지 스베 술짐 상하기 줄짐 어두두 시니 리망본지예요. 와다 소달기 줄짐 될라야 아니 배 가르사 에겐인 당글 아니 줄짐도 시니 니체네 간지 김바이나 김발레 김비 줄짐 송해요. 줄짐 송해 매겨 말해. 딘디가라 김바 줄짐 송네 아니 배 치지루지 상견댕이 아니 밀라 제베서 지트소 아니 ndegi marvalo zawa 아니 ndemling jawen 중네 디기디 김바레 쪼도 굴고야 같다 람중 포모 예제게 아니 차서 의수기베 다 딘디기 김비 술림 수네 아니 배 땡기지도 좀 되게 오다 케베 왕부인댕이 오다 되기디 김바이나 누가 오다 런림 숨기나 요래 줌나 킨런데 그냥 타바예 마투 릴런데나 타바 메즈르 숨리 링고 아니 배 옴게게전데나 그 최나진지 마투베이나 그 쮸셰바나진지 마체베이나 라렌타르 마셰베이나 아니 옴게데나 옴게불지가 어때 따다지 용고 말에 니 타바 톱고 말에 줌나 김난데 그냥 타바 여드르 숨래 타바 세데 레당요 뭐 제베터 레당요 뭐 남돌레 때다들 뜨바 똥바니 긴가 버기로 쓸숭도 우마지기 베나리 한테 오다 타바 생들 남베 어떤 텐디시는 문진지 거래 대용라 추tim 남다지 마송나 가부도 와 비출짐 나네 뭐에 나지 개념이 아니 배 용서 개념 버도 아니 배 상조 개념 버도다 랩징마 숭에 요래 대속간가 말한 좀 숨쳐야 체지 잘못다 수티는 숨이 좋아 쟁여 말스 김발라
This practice of one translation says ethical discipline or the moral discipline. When we define this ethical discipline, the second of the six practice of perfection, it is defined as abstaining from harming others from its very from or within its very foundation. Foundation here refers to the intention, abstaining harming others from, beginning with the intention itself. So this is what ethical discipline means here. And when we look closely at this meaning or definition, what it requires is, in order to engage in this kind of practice, abstaining harming others, even at the level of thought, it kind of requires some understanding of a practice of compassion. So therefore, you can see how each of these practices are sort of interconnected. The more expansive your understanding is of Buddhism, the purer your practice would be. Your practice would be more kind of pure and inclusive. And under this ethical discipline, when we look at the different forms and category, they are ethical discipline maintained by different kinds of practitioners. Three most common, individual liberation vows, the vows of the bodhisattvas, the vows of the Vajrayana practitioners or tantric practitioners. And under the individual liberation vows, they are vows that are specifically for the lay practitioners. One doesn't have to be fully ordained or wise monks or nuns. And those great practitioners, the lay practitioners such as Milarepa, great translator Marpa and Domtempa, those were all lay practitioners maintaining, ethical discipline can attain, were able to attain highest level of realizations. So there's this expression saying that if you can accomplish even staying at home, you can attain liberation. And if you cannot, do it properly, going to retreat high up in the mountain won't, accomplish liberation. So the point here is that if you know how to practice according to the instructions that were explained in the script and text, you can attain liberations, just being a lay person, staying at home. And if you don't know how to kind of, if you don't follow or don't know the actual instructions well, even staying up high in the retreat and engaging in intense kind of practices won't lead you to attaining of liberation. So liberation here, of course, in the 400 verses again, refers to the complete cessation of the karmic actions and all afflictions that were the result of those karma. And the five vows of lay practitioners. Lay practitioners can engage in any practice. Those vows beginning with holders of one vow, and then more than that until the holders of all five. Those the precepts.
와다 두스네 줄짐데 시부지 깨침부 잡아라했을 다 문도 두근질라 고 깨침부 잖아 문대균이 줄짐을 내미지메데 줄 문도 터발라 줄짐 숨구구에나 미네빈양데 터발라 뭐지고 줄짐 텔리강 고아래 미네빈양데 규서 텔리망 창구다 줄짐 때는 창구라 마찬가지 미네빈양데 텔리강 터투고 뚝뚝이야 가버려 인디가라 즉 오늘 말한 줄 줄짐 숨에데 깨침부 차디가래 단디는 그나 라레스도 말 숨도와 술침메 바란도 민투나스 아니 젠던 투반도 바 게미네스 티치 시페 딤바 메바이 술침 숨에 잘셀 알레인스 다 시바 아니 코로알라네 베 히야긴 두바 맨데긴지나 아니 술침 숨구레 타 전에 숨도와 어떻게 뭐네 말한도 즉 술짐기 그 공도 주주 공도 주 양양도 삼는다 대송과에 받아 그바에 버시 통이나 아니 그 술짐자야 괜찮을 리가 아니 이 술짐데 찰리나 간디 그바다 뚝뚝민도 삼삼질을 lemsa lebgirwa tilabina surim tesunwa surim sunwa se degola ko nyingaji leb kabdu tela enin dombaji bugorwa nyinganjini message 다 수림세야 가버려. 어디다 둘 수 있는 거다. 오늘 나랑 수림세인데 깨치 못 잡아래. 가르제나 란돈 주고면 신데 가와주. 이스타 란돈 주발라 수림 고고도 신돈 주발라 수림 송고도 몬토 주발라 수림 송고도 미니뱅양데 주발라 수림 송고와. 딘지 수림데 깨치 못 잡아래. 어디다 짐발레니 배 차라기 전에 짐발은 또 차차리
Going back to the text, it's verse 26. The practice of ethical discipline, in your translation, moral behavior, and also use discipline. You should sort of if lacking strict moral control of our conduct, we haven't been able to reach our own goal, how can we fulfill all the wishes of others? Undisciplined effort is surely absurd. We first must renounce our attachment to pleasure, which bind us so tightly to samsara's will. Then protect all our vows of sworn moral behavior. The sons of the Buddhas all practice this way. If I read the direct translation, without ethics you can't accomplish your own well-being, so wanting to accomplish others is laughable. Therefore, without worldly aspirations, safeguard your ethical discipline. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. And as said earlier, to attain a higher rebirth without a practice of ethical discipline, it is impossible. And if that is the case, then of course attaining of complete enlightenment, practice of ethical discipline is a must. And in this verse, what you are seeing here is that to free oneself from cyclic existence without having practice of ethical discipline or moral behavior, it is impossible to free yourself from cyclic existence. So again here, just kind of to understand it properly, you need to have a good understanding of what ethical discipline or moral discipline means, specifically in this context, and thinking over again, contemplating again, and then when you encounter circumstances where there's a risk of creating or crossing the ethical discipline, that is the time where you need to be careful, and that's the time where you need to kind of abstaining. Otherwise, when there's no risk, when you are not encountering any problems, then there's really no point of kind of abstention. Abstention only comes when you are encounter with factors and conditions that otherwise might you to kind of cross the ethical discipline. So therefore ethical discipline again here is needed to fulfill wishes of your the self kind of the desire of oneself, to fulfill the wishes of oneself. It is also needed to must for attaining of higher rebirth, as well as indispensable for attaining of complete enlightenment. So as compared to the first practice of perfection, generosity, this being a second, this practice is much more subtle, therefore more kind of profound, deeper and difficult than the first one.
판노르 duniyore, 판노르 duniyane, ngocha yobade, teli yobade, pabe norna shakore. Di ngocha teli yongi kebarde sheba ina, surim suna tos pendo yongsara wasi. 펜돌랍쟁 용사래지. 뭐차 세디가 뭐차 세지도록 뭐저 동바차 좀 말해. 뭐차 세디가라 가르치고 그래. 랑 유전되지네. 랍지텔랑 갈와. 젠제 에니페 네팔티 주운두가라 랑 유전되지네. 아니 동바데 뭐차 와래. 텔리오바 세디가라 젠 유전되지네. 오 니디 에니페 미세 타주잖아. 미경에 잘리게 그래. 겨와치만 미 통중 교수지 그래. 어다 된리 삼로다네 jen 규전도 전에 아니 간지 로야미난다 아니 소초이난다 간지 미게비 자war지라 민주야 라 dom바이나 디 텔리오 바래. 어다 된리게 개발 시비 고니 아니 지 디제이나 디 출중 소나 빼펜사라 있어. 수냠용이 돈에 주도잖아. 디 디기민도 삼삼지 렘삼로는 차르고지 구가래. 그래서 파베 노르세 거래. 오니 디주 에니베 다춤바 에니베 동이 돈도 갱갱 냠는 제야래. 나랑서 르세고. 고 지시 에니베 저기 가르쳐 거래다. 사분 싸원 중 먼진 버도 따뜻 가서 미고에처럼 주 알레라고 차고 걸어와. 딘디가 디조니 차이ken소리 차고 걸어. 대패 펜사래. 윤도 대 공바지나 펜사래 성도 없어.
For the practice of ethical discipline, it should be kind of helpful to think and take a kind of more seriously of the two of the of what we call 7 riches of the noble beings, sometimes translated as 7 jewels of the Aryas, and those two. One is more kind of common, the sense of shame or sense of embarrassment. The other one is it is here translated as a dread of blame. Another translation is a sense of consideration of others. So these two in Tibetan expression, it really comes kind of together. But the meaning of these two, a sense of shame, the first one. Or embarrassment is not simply kind of feeling of shame and kind of physical gesture of turning your face kind of red or something, but here what it means is the strict understanding, narrow definition is that both have this common of abstaining from engaging in negative activities. But for the first one, sense of shame, in this what it means is abstaining from engaging in any negative activities using yourself as a reason. You might be taking any commitments and you might be wanting to be a good person. So whatever the reason that you have, so you use yourself as a reason of abstaining from harming others. The second one, which is translated here as a kind of more uncommon, a dread of blame or a sense of considerations of others, Tibetan would tell, which is also abstaining from harming others. But when you do that, the reason is you use not yourself, but you use others as a reason. If I engage in act of killing, sexual misconduct, how would other people thought about me? They can to sort of validate keeping your ethical or moral discipline. So understanding of these two would be really helpful in kind of further maintaining the practice or engaging in the practice of ethical discipline. And these are the the 7 jewels of the Aryas are the practices that are done by the assets here, the noble beings, Aryas, 4 destroyers, practitioners. And so understanding of these two would be really kind of beneficial from a perspective of kind of our own experiences, and then kind of abstaining from engaging in the opposite of the moral behavior or ethical discipline.
어떤 줄임제들 넘제들라 라진기 하나 맡아봐다 집에 하나 맡아봐 니가도 뭐래 ranjingi khana mathe basi digala kelen na malenna ko chawade chena nyeban juya yiji inchinje ta so chena donde in rong donde main rong kangal nyeban juya yindi ranjingi khana matwa ko yiti 자와 간지는 대에는 배 소소 풍제기 이암 야니 소소라니 내지기 차인자 고에 너무 후하래 된다와데 소소 풍야데 랑 풍야도 수는 되고 말아 랑은 내야도 수는 되고 말아 고 쟤는 이 차로 거라 어다 띠인들가 랑신기 가는 마토와세데 간지 자와데 쟤는 예반 주야시데 ranjingi khana matwa jebe khana matwa de ta jeba dela sangi chomden degi team chine ta ngarang zo genyim phamate zo ganji de kondu juju je na ji genyene yongzo genyem pardo labji chi ni nga pardo yare yongzo genyene labji nga ga sung ho ware tati ko so kelenji wangi sung ho warwa chomden degi 어떻게 켈랭일라 제반디디 숨거서 제반앙래 딘디가라 제베 카나마도 와 시나 펜도도 와 지주시나 아니 순자임바 하고 하네 아니 줄진 숭구레세 자마이모 고 줄진 강 숭구예메 순나 펜도 가래 예메 어떻게 대기 공동 주주래 어디도 쓰니 개발 켄도나 야버레스 아니 솔직히 말해
Yes. In the practice of ethical discipline or moral discipline, there is a commitment from your side, and you are basically committing, saying that I'm not engaging in such and such activities. So there is some kind of you are accepting some practice of restriction from your side. So what you are restricting from yourself, and here kind of two forms of non-virtuous activity or negative activities, you can say. The first one is what we call natural, more kind of natural negative activities. The second is more kind of constructed negative activities. Natural form of negative activities are such as, for example, the act of killing. When you kill somebody, it doesn't matter whether you are holders of vows, practitioners or not, there is a negative result from that, So therefore, that kind of act I consider as more kind of, natural or more kind of innate negative activities. And the constructed refers to the, for example, the vows, lay person's vows. There are 5, and depending on your choices, you can either, commit to 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe all 5. So it depends on, and these are something that was in Buddhist practice. Buddha kind of came up with these numbers of vows for lay people. If you committed to these vows, there are certain benefits, and therefore the second one is more kind of more narrow one as compared to the first one. And but here what you are restricting kind of from is activities, if you engage, will end up in the result of suffering, your own downfallment. So there are two forms. One is more kind of natural, other is more kind of constructed. Or under the practice of ethical discipline, it is important to kind of know the very fundamental questions, such as what are, when you say ethical discipline, what are the disciplines that you need to be engaging or committed to, and why you are engaging in such kind of discipline, what are the benefits. So these are some really kind of basic questions that you has to have understanding when engaging in ethical discipline. And we'll take a break here.